Ready now for the men's collegiate 4x400 relay. Records. UCLA holds the collegiate record, 2:59.91. Arizona State, the very old meet record, almost 20 years old, 3:01.9. And this is Greg Houghton of George Mason University. They've already won the distance medley relay and the 4x800 meter relay, trying to make a clean sweep here by winning the 4x400. Certainly the favorites in the race.
Very interesting strategy, though, putting their fastest man first. We talked earlier about the importance of strategy in relay racing, especially on this track. Getting out ahead makes a difference, but do you waste this guy on the leadoff leg, Dwight?
That's why I'm not Coach John Cook. Let's see how the rest of the lanes will fill out. Lane 1 is open. LSU in 5. George Mason in 4. Might get some action from Kentucky out in 7, but we will be watching George Mason very, very closely.
Let's not forget about Texas A&M and Ohio State. They looked impressive in qualifying as well. All the teams had to run yesterday afternoon. Cold, rainy conditions to qualify on a time basis for this final. And then in the interim, several athletes have run in 4x200 meter races, sprint medleys, other distances as well.
Is it any wonder after seeing a meet like this why sometimes the collegiate athletes just don't have any gas left when it comes to making the Olympic team? They run so many races at these invitational events, relay events throughout the year, but it's great breeding ground for these athletes as the next generation of great Olympic stars. As we watch once again George Mason University out of lane 4 very, very closely in this first leg of the men's collegiate 4x400 relay final.
How'd you like to be one of these other college guys running against Greg Houghton, the bronze medalist at last summer's World Track and Field Championships? This guy's third best in the world, and you got to lead off against him. And he's just eating them up on this first leg. There you see him on the right of the screen.
Houghton truly running like a men amongst boys in this first leadoff leg, giving a great lead to his George Mason teammate. Remember, they must stay in lanes for this entire second turn and then break into lane 5. 45.2 unofficially for Houghton on the leadoff.
And remember, that's from a dead start, carrying the relay baton, so good leadoff running as you see the George Mason runner move out into lane 5. And this is just what Coach John Cook would have wanted, a commanding lead for George Mason on the second leg. But can they hold it, Dwight? Everybody else able to point towards them, aim for them. And it's not always easy running with the lead. You always have to worry a little bit. What's going on behind you?
And plenty is going on behind them with Kentucky in second. Texas A&M now fading to third. LSU coming up to third. But George Mason still in command. 15 to 20 meter lead as we head into the third leg.
O'Neal Duncan now running for George Mason. Now, one point you have to make is those teams chasing have to do a lot of work. They're battling back and forth with one another. As we see LSU trying to get by Kentucky, so they're involved in their own mini battles in the back. Reagan Nichols for LSU sneaking up in the direction of Mason, but now falling back again.
And Mason's lead now down to about 6 meters, and although this is not an official championship the same way that the 4x8 and the distance medley relay is, they would still love to have a sweep of all 3 of the relays in which they participated, but they have got their hands full on this final anchor leg.
Paul Henry running for George Mason.
And Danny McCray for Texas A&M. It's going to give him all he needs. Henry holding his own very nicely.
You can be sure that John Cook said to these George Mason athletes, you're going to have the lead, so take it out quickly and try to get to the finish line on inspiration, but I'm not sure that'll be enough right here, Dwight.
The inspired running being done by McCray of Texas A&M and Aldridge of LSU, and it will be Texas A&M that will win the collegiate 4x400 meter relay, denying George Mason an opportunity to sweep the 3 relays in which they participated.
Still a strong Penn Relays for George Mason.
And what a great way for us to finish up the Penn Relays with the final relay 4x400. George Mason in the lead, but not for long, as Danny McCray of Texas A&M blows by him, Craig.
You know, 45,000 fans here today for the final day. 85,000 fans at the Penn Relays over 3 days, and this is what they come to see. A guy getting past with 60, 70 meters to go, and a strong, storming anchor leg for Texas A&M.
And the official results of the men's collegiate 4x400 relay, Texas A&M in a slow, but because of the conditions, slow 3:06.88 victory. LSU in second, and Kentucky third. Let's go down to Gus Johnson with the victorious anchorman from Texas A&M.
And thank you very much, guys. Danny McCray. And Danny, when you took the baton, did you really think that you could catch him?
Oh yeah, I knew it. If they keep me within so much distance between somebody, I'm gonna got a good chance of winning. You know, good Lord was just with me today. He blessed me, kept me healthy. That's all I wanted. And I always ask God not to make me win the race, but just give me the strength to do my best. Whatever my best does is whatever it does. And they did good today.
So when did you really know that you had him?
I got about on the backstretch, middle of the backstretch. I could feel him starting to get faded. I could feel myself getting stronger. And I knew it was a matter of time. I was more worried about the guy coming behind me than I was about the guy in front of me. So I didn't want, because the guy in front of me would set a nice pace up for the race, because he's so far out. So if the guy behind me would set a pace off me, and if I die, then he's going to pass everybody else. And that's the only guy I was concerned about.
Well, congratulations on running a good race.
Thank you.
So Texas A&M comes back to win the 4x400 meter relay championship in dramatic fashion to close out yet another great day at the Penn Relays. So for Dwight Stones and Craig Masback, I'm Gus Johnson saying so long from Philadelphia, side of the world's oldest and largest relay meet.